Now on one, we're joined by Edward Petherbridge at 5 to 11.
Good morning. This week I'm following 5 stages of life. Today, the experience of childhood. I begin with the actor, Gordon Craig, recalling his first introduction to the theatre in 1880 and his first sight of Henry Irving. I was then 8 years old and was taken to the Lyceum Theatre, not to see the play, but to grow a little familiar with the stage of a theatre during a performance of a melodrama. I was walking along in the dark, holding on to the hand of my guide, my mother, Ellen Terry, who was thrilled to feel that I was again behind the scenes of our home, the theatre. The first time I'd been on a stage was in 1878. I appeared with my mother at the old Court Theatre, Sloane Square, in Olivia. I was on in the first act, amongst the villagers who crowded the scene. I was 6 years old. So when my mother, who had joined Irving at the Lyceum in 1878, brought me to sniff the mountain air of the stage in 1880, it was to get me a little more used to the giddy heights, the mysterious glamour, the strange, darkened realms of the place. I was walking along in the dark, holding on to the hand of my mother, Ellen Terry. There was hardly a sound to be heard, only some quavering music. And there I saw a ghastly figure of a man with a red wound showing on the left side of his chest. And this figure was rising up from the stage floor and gliding its way across the stage as it came up. And there, too, I saw Henry Irving, with his back to it and us, sitting, scribbling at a table. This was the end of the first act of the Corsican Brothers. Till that moment, I had always looked on the stage as a blithe sort of place, either where horses ran round in a ring or where people laughed and burst into tears and brushed the tears away gaily and happily and flung themselves from one side of the stage to the other, all done with the lights turned well up and with a good deal of flutter and noise. But that was all over now. And so was the brief, terrifying glimpse of Irving and the darkened stage, the travelling ghost. For my mother took me below the stage, and passing through a forest of wooden machinery, we came at last to a steep ladder staircase, ascended it, and arrived once more on the stage floor on the other side of the big stage. And suddenly all the lights were up, and there, amidst a tremendous bustle, together with the sounds of thousands of people clapping, there Henry Irving stood between the front curtain and the glowing yellow footlights, taking his call. And I, looking to the right and the left, behind and in front, still holding on to the hand of my mother, we went off to the stage door and out into the cold, mauve daylight. Now Francis Cornford's short poem called simply Childhood. I used to think that grown-up people chose to have stiff backs and wrinkles round their nose, and veins like small, fat snakes on either hand, on purpose to be grand. Till through the banisters I watched one day my great Aunt Ettie's friend who was going away, and how her onyx beads had come unstrung. I saw her grope to find them as they rolled, and then I knew that she was helplessly old, as I was helplessly young.